All
There we go.
right, there they are. Holy shit!
Yo, what's up?
How you guys doing?
Doing
Good,
good.
man. Doing well.
I'm
How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Hmm.
Um, I,
Yeah,
I,
us as
fe-
well.
I feel like I've it's been a long road with you guys just because I've ever since I first heard you guys I've been like, oh man, I gotta talk to them someday about
We're
this
making it
fucking.
happen.
Yeah. So I'm totally stoked about this, and thanks for being here and everything.
Absolutely.
Um, I'll be kind of low on the bullshit and kind of just get to it because I have questions, but if shit goes off in weird areas, I don't care. It's perfectly
We're in.
fine. Um, so I mean, as you guys know, I got into your band through classics,
Hmm.
which I then shared to my video partner Howard that we do Old Bollocks together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we
And
loved it. Oh, chap.
yeah. The funny thing is, I didn't expect him to like it because I know him
Right.
and I know what he's into. But occasionally there are those albums that I hear that I just feel like telling everybody, like even people that don't give two shits about what I'm listening to, I'm like, look, just hear me out, you know.
Oh,
Um, so but like that album, I don't know if you guys follow me enough to even know, but that album ended up being my number one of the year.
Fuck yeah.
That year.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Thank you.
And it's because like it sort of was infectious in a way that like it was something that I wasn't expecting to find, nor did I necessarily seek out. And then it had repeated listen qualities that just kind of kept drawing me back, which is similar to the newest album, Data Diamond, which or Data Diamond. How do you say it? Well, how do you
I
say
think, I think, I think your
Data?
British friend says data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say data.
We hear
Yeah.
we hear the ones that are correct say
Yeah.
data. So
Have you listened
You
to
got
the
it.
whole thing, or?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
nice, dude.
Several times now. Yeah, I was like, it was great because I got sent the promo and I was like, holy shit, already. And so I dove into that real quick, and I've heard it a few times now. But the great thing about that is because I'm usually the kind of person that's like, you know what, I'm going to wait till I get that vinyl and then I'm going to throw it on. So now I kind of get to do that twice, where I'm getting to hear the album and hear it several times, talk to you guys about it, and then I'm going to be like, I'm not fucking putting that shit on again until I
Yeah.
get the vinyl, and it'll be like
I've been-
discovering the shit all over again. So
Oh, perfect.
yeah, but before we get there, the one thing that I've always wanted to know, and I don't know, I've seen a few interviews with you guys, but I don't know how much this has been touched on. But exactly how did the two of you end up working together, and how was Four Stroke Baron birthed, if you will?
So www.craigslist.com.
It's actually true.
Yeah, is how we met.
I forget it sometimes because we've known each other so long.
Yeah.
It's like an old buddy.
So I'll start it. I used to play. I've been playing drums since I was like 13 years old,
Uh-huh.
and I was in a death metal band for all of high school. It was called Legacy of War, and we just kind of played locally, but we would play like in the area, and that didn't work out, and I quit playing drums for a couple of years, and I got a hair up my ass to be like, dude, I want to get back into playing music. So as anyone did in 2009 or 2010 or whatever year it was, I made a Craigslist ad and just put a picture of my drum set and said, hey, drummer interested in jamming. And I just made a huge list of bands that I enjoyed and put it up on Craigslist, and fucking good old Kirk hit me up.
Yeah, and so I was like, I wasn't in bands in high school or anything. I always recorded stuff. Like I just recorded stuff like a drum machine and just
Mhm.
made like weird songs with guitar. I didn't do vocals or anything. And then I just did that, just kind of like self-satisfying, just made stuff and listened to it myself. And I was like, woo! And then but then and it was around like 2009, 2010, or I think, yeah, more 2009. I joined a hip hop band just as a guitar player. And it was like they had a live drummer, bass player, and
Yeah.
I was super casual about it. It was just like, I'm gonna play some bar shows, just kind of go out and have fun, and like maybe play some shows for the first time. And we started doing that. And the music, some of the stuff was cool, some of it was kind of bad, but that like eventually dissolved. And then after that, I was just sitting there. And I was still recording stuff myself, but then just randomly I went on Craigslist and on musicians, and I found Matt's post, and it was just this huge drum kit with like 6 toms.
It was the most ridiculous. It was like the guy who heard Dream Theater for the first time, so he had to have the octobons and the 4 rack toms and the 2 floor toms and the 15 cymbals, and that was the set that I had and that I took pictures of.
And me being like 19, I was like, oh, a big drum kit, that means a good drummer. And so like and then some of the bands he listed were like just cool bands that I listened to. And so I emailed him and I was like, hey, here's some songs I record, I just kind of jam, you want to meet? So I just sent him an email.
And so I lied to him. He sent me a couple of songs and I was like, yeah, dude, I practice all the time. And I had nowhere to practice, so I hadn't touched my drums in probably 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I touched my drums is when I came and met him in his little jam space. It was at your house.
Yeah, the garage.
Yeah, in his garage. And I pulled up with this massive fucking drum set just covered in dust. And I tried telling him that, like, nah, dude, I've got these songs. I've been practicing them. I didn't practice them at all.
Yeah. And then so we started playing, and dude,
it was obvious I hadn't played the drums in 3 years, dude. Obvious.
And neither it was like just a rough like garage, how bands played in 2009 in a garage. Just there's no sophistication behind it. And like we played the songs, and all the songs I made, I just like recorded to a drum machine. I would just like program the beats individually, and just it sounded just like super basic and robotic.
Right.
And so I'd only played him like that, and we played together. And yeah, he had like barely played in a while, but I didn't know. And so it was like super sloppy. But there was one fill that he did with like a splash.
It was a splash fill, yeah.
And I was like, that was pretty cool. And I was like, this is good enough, like until we can just jam. And we didn't mean to start a band. We jammed for a few years. Like we jammed like a couple times a month. It was us and a bass player that was
our original bass player.
Yeah. And we would just jam like a couple times a month, and most of our jams we just kind of improvise. And then we started to like find the kind of sound. There was one thing we made that we recorded. It was just instrumental. And then like it's kind of just bounced back and forth a little like live jams. Just until like 2014, one day I was just like, dude, we have to just record something for real, just to have something.
Well, and depending on how deep we want to go, I mean, we can go really deep. We tried to do different things. We tried to do like a prog rock thing, and we weren't like too into it. And we started messing with the idea of what we called prog hop, which was progressive hip hop. Mm-hmm. And we tried out a bunch of different rappers, and trying out rappers in the Reno area was just fucking sketchy beyond sketch. Yeah. It was just, we got some of the weirdest dudes who just showed up to our jam space, and it didn't work. We were trying all these different singers, and some of them were really good, but it didn't feel right. Some of these rappers were like, hey man, like, I don't know. It got really weird with some of these rappers.
There was one that was literally a homeless guy.
Yeah. And he stole your boombox.
Yeah. Dude. So he was at like I don't know if it's a halfway house or just wherever. It's like this place where homeless people
halfway house.
Yeah. And they try and teach him job skills. And I guess he was going on Craigslist and like answering he wanted to be in a band, which is cool. So like I was like, hey, like I found, I don't know if he responded to us or we found him and responded, but his email was super formal. And then he's like, yeah, I live at this homeless place in the middle of town in a really like a weird area. And it was right in this park. And he's like, yeah, I literally don't have anything. So we bought a stereo with our demo CD that he could like listen to and make raps to. And then we bought the stereo with the demo CD in it, gave it to him. And we were in contact for like a week.
Then he just ghosted us.
Yeah, we met with him once in the park, and he he showed us some of his raps that was just off the top of the dome, and just like, and he did it. We're like, okay, cool, whatever, this might work. And then we gave him the CD player, and then after that, we just never heard from him again.
Ghosted us.
So he just took the CD player. We never heard from him. We're like, okay, now let's find a different guy. There was one local guy we used that was like, he was okay. We stuck with him for like a couple of weeks, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like after recording a couple songs, it's just we're like, this is not.
Yeah. Long story short, one day Kirk just showed up to our jam space and said, "Dude, what if we just record a really weird, heavy EP and call it 4-Stroke Baron?" I was like, "Yeah, man, that sounds fun." And
so you had the name in your head somehow.
Well, so yeah. There's a whole nother backstory to where the name.
Okay.
We can go into that too, but yeah, he just showed up to practice one day and said, "What do you guys think if we just record? We'll down tune the guitars and just make it sound weird and sludgy, and we'll call it 4-Stroke Baron, and we'll just make an EP." And Kirk was like, "Dude, fuck it, I'll do vocals. I don't know how to sing, so we'll just layer the shit out of these vocals and see what we can make happen." And then that's how the 4-Stroke Baron EP kind of came to be.
Yeah. And that's why the EP, like all the vocals are literally, some of the songs are 20 vocal tracks for a vocal.
Yeah.
It's because like I couldn't sing, and it's just stacking 20 vocals just kind of made it sound like a choir, and it sounded like get a rough melody, and that was like vaguely in my range, and then just record it that way, because we didn't even plan like, oh, we're not going to play live or anything. We just wanted to have a thing, to that's like recorded, that like Matt and I have known each other. We produced this. This is cool. This is to listen to. And if anyone talks to us, we can be like, hey, this is what we made.
And that was honestly, we're kind of going way off on one question, but that was honestly,
that's perfectly fine.
That was honestly the one and only thing we were going to do with 4-Stroke Baron, was just that album. Our idea was to release this weird EP and then keep trying to do other weird stuff. And we started, Kirk shared it to a couple people, and we started seeing that it was gaining a little bit of attention. And so we were like, dude, maybe there's something to this weird, kind of heavy, but kind of poppy, melodic band of 4-Stroke Baron. Maybe we try to record a full-length album and just see what happens. So we got together and we recorded the full-length album over, a span of however long it took us. And we released the first full-length album, King Radio. And again, we never played live. We didn't really have plans to play live. It was just us messing around and just kind of seeing what sounded cool and what we thought sounded cool. And so we released King Radio, and that started gaining more traction. And we're like, this is cool, man. Like, people kind of like this weird, heavy, melodic, poppy, weird vocal thing. And one day we just randomly got hit up by Steve Joe at Prosthetic. And he emailed us and said, hey, I found your guys' music. I love it. I would love to work with you guys. What do you think? And we thought it was a clever ruse to get our social security numbers and take everything that we owned, which wasn't very much. And we looked into it, and it was legit. And we said, dude, I think this is a thing, man. Let's sign it. And we signed this record deal with Prosthetic Records. And so the kind of funny thing is that, so we signed a record deal and got onto a label without ever playing a live show, without having any social media. We had no social medias. We had no nothing. We just had a Bandcamp. We didn't promote anything. We just put music up online and let it sit. And from that, we got signed to Prosthetic. Our first real tour was in Europe with Shining, and it kind of is all gone down. It's all gone from there.
That's amazing. That, you know what, that's exactly what I would want it to be, because it's like there are certain things about your music that sound like they probably are so meticulously planned out, but then the formation of the band was all just like, the hip hop thing's not working, let's do something else. It's fine, let's do this. And it just sort of,
it honestly, yeah, dude, it fell into place, dude. It just kind of fell into what it was. And
it's like a Rube Goldberg machine, just kind of, just turned into whatever it is.
Till we just started cooking bacon on a frying pan.
But, and also like Matt and I always hated the idea of just like a band. I mean, because we had both been in bands. There's like the, I don't know, just social media bullshit, like promoting fucking like, hey, let's go to the mall and hand out flyers and just all this like, we're like, dude, like we don't want to be like do band stuff. So we eventually had to do some band stuff, just necessary evil, but that's like just the genesis of it was just like, let's make
kick-ass stuff and see what happens.
Yeah, and I feel like for the most part, when you guys do things, you kind of put your own twist on it, and you do funny things like, "Oh, here's a live video, but we're gonna say it's from Knotfest or something like that."
Oh, wait, no, so the Knotfest was real. It was a stream though. It was like their live stream because
the first time I saw that, I was just like,
But the one that we did do was for Mono Queen. It was during the height of COVID, so we recorded Mono Queen. Just because everything was shut down, everybody was like depressed and everything was like just weird. And we're like, dude, let's record music and just put something out there for people to listen to if they want to. And if they don't, then they don't. And so we put out Mono Queen. We wanted to think of the weirdest set of covers that you could put together that you would never think one band would cover. So that's why we did Red Rider, Churches, Post Malone, the Beatles, Death Grips, and what's the Tones on Tail? Those are the 6, right?
Yeah.
And so the weirdest group of cover songs, and said, let's record that and just put something out so people can hear just insanity. And so as part of that, we did a live performance, but during COVID
at Wembley.
Yeah, so we just said Four Stroke Baron live at Wembley. Yeah, and it was just in like a weird little recording broom closet.
And the one that gets people is the Jimmy Kimmel one.
Yeah,
which is a fucking joke. And we're actually disappointed in people.
Yeah, we thought people would get it
because I thought it was so awesome. Like you don't just go on there and like it's like so that show was when we toured with Sarah Longfield and we played in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. It was a theater. And the theater had a videographer guy who he's there at every show, and he's like, "Hey, I can film your performance if you want, and I'll just like give you a recording straight from the board." And so like, okay, so we just had him do that, and he sent us the recording, and it was good for theater, but it looked hilarious because it looked like one of those it looked like Jimmy Kimmel,
really cheesy,
or Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon, a really cheesy late night thing.
Yeah, it had it looked like a talk show, and it's like in a theater, and it had these funny transitions, and the recording sounded like a talk show where it's just this weird dry recording. And so we saw it, and we're like, dude, this looks hilarious.
Yeah, I remember we were
post it and just say like
Jimmy Fallon.
We're on Jimmy Fallon, and it was such an obvious joke to us.
Yeah,
but dude. Posted it and like people in Matt's family started texting him like, dude, you're on Jimmy Fallon, holy shit. And then people started commenting like, dude, I think Four Stroke Baron's lying about where they're playing. And I was like, it's like, dude, I thought the joke was way more obvious.
Yeah.
With the Jimmy Fallon.
Clearly we're not funny.
But
so with me it had the opposite effect to when you guys posted the Knotfest and I went, they're not really there.
Yes, they were making everything.
Yeah. We still never played a live show yet.
Yeah, the Knotfest one was
that was real.
Yeah, we were on the Knotfest, but it was their live streaming
during COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't like at a festival with like a huge crowd or anything.
Yeah.
But it was their because it was during COVID. They just did
the Pulse of the Maggots festival, which is like, I guess it's supposed to like showcase maybe smaller bands or like up and coming bands. And so we got asked to perform for it. So we actually recorded it here where we're talking to you. This is where we do all of our music stuff. So we just recorded it here, set up, recorded it all ourselves, and put it out for their live streaming festival.
All right, yeah. That's a good segue because you do the recording in there, and we kind of flash forward. I like this because people that are new get a little bit, pretty good history of you guys. But after that, you guys put out 2 more albums, and then it brings us to the most recent one, which I read was originally going to be 2 EPs. Mm-hmm. So, yep. and one was going to be more electronic and one more guitar driven, or what made the decision just to put everything together?
So a little bit of a fun fact is that the entire electronic EP is done and ready to go.
Yeah.
So we're kind of sitting on
Oh.
something little fun tidbit, but yeah, our idea was a weird, and it's all electronic. It's like very it's completely different than anything we've done, but it still has the 4-stroke Baron elements of something catchy that you can kind of hum along to, but it's very strange and very like experimental for us. And so we wanted to do a weird electronic EP, and then we were trying to doing Diamond, which was going to be very heavy. We wanted the heaviest thing that we've done, EP, and we wanted these 2 EPs to melt together to this grand release of Data Diamond. And it didn't feel right to us, that because what our idea was at first is that Data Diamond was going to have a handful of songs from Data EP, a handful of songs from the Diamond EP, and then a few more new songs. And we didn't want it to seem like we were just rehashing old stuff that we already did.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea sounded better than we started.
We actually started doing
when we started piecing the whole thing together, we're like, and also when we started writing the Diamond songs, like the heavy ones, like, dude, these like sound so cool. These should just be an album.
Yeah.
And then and it's just as we started finishing them, it was like our original idea, which we thought was cool, like release 2 EPs, put them together as an album. But yeah, it didn't
feel right.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was going to pan out the way we thought it would have. It felt like we're re-releasing stuff.
Right.
So we're like, let's just, like, in the Data Diamond, the Diamond songs, the heavy ones were so cool. Like, dude, let's just keep this direction, like make an album. And then the electronic ones, which there's some stuff that from Data, the electronic stuff that we kept on the Data Diamond album. But the actual Data EP that's going to be like all electronic, that's like a whole separate
Completely
thing
new
that we'll release.
Nice.
Quickly.
Yeah.
So I guess that brings us to probably my most important question, which is about the songwriting process. And I guess really the big question for me has always been, where does the songwriting process start? What is the first element of a song that you build off of, and has that changed at all from one album to the other?
No, it honestly starts with Kirk and I hanging out, and we drink a couple of beers and we go, dude, and we just start with these little melodies, like Kirk likes to explain it.
We start singing, like just rapping and singing at each other.
Yeah, we scream at each other.
These peeing outside, like just humming along and just like beatboxing basically. And that's like honestly, we're just hanging out, like shouting things, and we'll have like a keyboard. I have my guitar. We'll just sit there and we just bullshit, and then just like an idea, and a little tiny idea just catches us, and then we just grab that. Like, that is a cool little catchy thing. We don't know if it's going to be a chorus, a verse, or what it's going to be, and then we just like start attacking it, and then like we record like a weird little basic version of it, and then
one that really sticks out to me is how our writing process works is Radium from Classics. So we went, I think, as everybody did, because we wrote Mono Queen and Classics during like the height of COVID, and everything was weird. But Kirk and I we went, you know what, dude, we're not going to stop getting together. Yeah. Like, if we get sick, we'll get sick, and whatever, man, we're gonna write and record, and that's just what we do. So we were getting together during the height of COVID. It just became like you were drinking and hanging out and just going insane. And I remember Kirk spinning in where we record, and we're like, dude, let's think of the dorkiest melody in the entire world and make it a song. So we were on the synth.
It was on the keyboard. And it was just with a little like when you hear the synth intro, where it's like
that was us just going, oh fuck, man.
It's 3 notes hammered, just fucking just going fucking,
and we're like, dude, that's
insane.
That's the cheesiest, dorkiest melody.
bing, bing.
Let's write an entire song around the worst melody ever thought of and make it cool. And so, and that's our approach with all of it. Is it starts with a weird melody that you would just hum to yourself if you're like doing the dishes, and you hum a melody and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like we'll grab onto that idea and be like, dude, let's make that into an entire song.
Yeah.
Over this one weird little melody. So that was Radium, where we had this crazy melody and we just went. I still can like taste writing and recording Radium, where we were just in the room and we would turn off all the lights and we would turn on like these weird red lights and we would just be spinning, just writing this crazy intro and
just like piling on samples.
Yeah.
Just like
trying to just take it to the extreme. And that's kind of what each song does. Is it just starts with Kirk and I hanging out and bullshitting, and we come up with a weird melody. And we go, dude, let's make that a song, because that melody sounds cool. We have to figure out a way to put that in a song. And then away we go. And
we both have a weird ear for like things that could be cool. It's like, because and we've had it in the past, like if we were trying to make music with someone else, or if Matt and I are trying to make music with someone else, like a lot of times they're just not on the same page. But like Matt and I will listen, like I have a whole bunch of recordings from my phone. Like if I'm somewhere and something sounds cool, I just hit voice memos and just...
You're a fucking creep, dude.
Just record, yeah. Just record. School children just chanting. And but like I'll just have like just random recordings, and then like Matt and I will just listen to them, and just this like we'll listen to something and we just immediately like Matt will be like, holy shit, dude, no, there is something to that weird fucking little recording.
Let's add that sample into the music.
Yeah, so we just throw it in, and it's like, but with like some other people, if you just play it, you're like, yeah, whatever this, yeah, maybe you could turn that into something cool.
The spark doesn't happen.
Yeah, but it's like insanely just intuitive. We're just sitting there.
I'll kind of just cherry on top of it. There's a weird, and we've explained it before. That's a weird. I feel like it's a weird frequency where Kirk and I will just start going back and forth, and we've written with other people where they'll just kind of take a back seat and sit back and like, I guess, not really know where to contribute.
Yeah.
And that's why Four Stroke Baroness has turned into us two as what the band is. And then we have live people that we play with on bass. Because to us, it's the most efficient way. We understand each other's ideas, and it gets to a point where we just start bouncing back and forth.
Yeah. Half the time we're not even speaking English.
Probably not. Just screaming at each other, and then Kara is written.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you work off spontaneity, and that's great. But I'm assuming that's probably also helpful because you guys do, as far as I know, the actual production yourselves, recording. But I'm assuming that spontaneity goes all the way up to the last moment. Like if you think of something last minute, you're done tracking things on this song, and you do hear a noise that would go great in there. You immediately just throw it in.
Yep,
exactly,
for sure.
Because that's like, we'll start with a weird, like, I don't know, 30-second, but we get a weird idea wherever it comes from. Either we sing at each other, sometimes it's something like I've just been playing guitar, have like a little riff. I'm like, this might be cool, and then we just start screaming over it and start doing something stupid, and then it'll be like a short little thing, and then we just kind of do like a super basic like loop demo of it, just record it down. And then just enough of a little thing that we can like kind of listen to back and jam along in our heads, and then like slowly that just gets structured, and then like there's like a refinement process towards the end where like so it's not just chunks of loops just playing. Where we kind of like then it gets a little more meticulous. Like, all right, let's like make a cool drum fill here, make a cool like change the little guitar thing here. Let's like pause this here and do that. So like the end, I feel like the end is where we get more careful. The beginning is just like
the beginning is just free flowing ideas.
Yeah, just throw shit at the wall.
Yeah, because I think the little things are really what brings me back to the music you guys do, and that's where my questions always kind of lie, because especially on Data Diamond, there are a lot of little points in the songs where I just go, I never would have thought Like just the weirdest little thing. Just you decide on one word, you're going to pitch your voice way the fuck up for like just 1 second, and like little things like that where I just go wow, or like a keyboard noise that isn't necessarily a note. It's more like a rhythmic thing, and those are the things that I just go, well, that's fascinating because sometimes those things stick out to me first, and then I'll go listen again, and the hooks of the song start coming out. So I'm just like, it's like hearing another album for me because all of a sudden the catchy parts are coming out of the songs.
Right.
And I think I think the way this album, you rolling it out is perfect because the Witch is an absolute perfect sort of, those of us who are already fans, we hear the song and go, fuck yeah, they're still doing this cool shit. And then I think it's also a great song for somebody that like is brand new. Right. But then you go to the album, and I love how the album begins because on mute, instrumental, and it's kind of lures you in a little bit, and you're like, what the fuck is this going to be? And Monday, I think, may be the most batshit crazy song you guys have ever done. And so it really does say, all right, it's almost like this is the gatekeeper. Like, are you down with this kind of shit? Because it could be happening in this album.
Exactly. Because it's about to go more insane.
Yeah. So I totally love that. But on top of that, from a personal standpoint, just the things that I connect with, and maybe you guys feel the same way as music fans or whatever. I deal with a lot of like, I guess would be considered imposter syndrome. I always feel like I don't belong wherever it is that I am. I feel like I don't belong. And in the world of like quote unquote weird music, like unusual stuff, proggy stuff, experimental stuff, whatever, so much of it hits me as a cool kids club and I don't belong there. But the first time I heard classics, that was the one thing I thought was like, this is strange yet very inviting. And so that's the thing that I think is great about what you guys do is it doesn't seem like, oh, we're weird, you don't want to hang out with us. It's more like, hey, we're fucking weird, come on, join in. You know, it's like, and really,
you know, that's a cool way to put it, because we have zero. Kirk and I have zero rules when it comes to what we're going to write and how we're going to do it. Yeah. Our only like weird little caveat is that it has to be catchy. Yeah. People have to hear it once and go, oh, okay, that's the melody. Like this, like this, like this. Like there's always got to be this weird little earworm where like, we want casual listeners like Taylor Swift fans to like our music. And we want people who listen to like just super heavy death metal to hear the heavy aspects in our music and be able to latch on to something. And we want hip hop fans to like it. And I think our approach to the weird music is that we don't really think of it as being weird. We just think of it as being like, dude, this sounds cool, man. Like we're super pumped on this. Let's keep chasing this idea and see where we can take it. But it has to be catchy. It has to have that hook where like a grandma could hear it and start humming the chorus to Kara, or start humming the chorus to one of our songs, or a younger metalhead could hear it and hear the heaviness to it and go, oh, okay, there's something there. That's cool. And so that's where that inviting nature comes, where we're not trying to exclude anything. We're just trying to have fun with it.
Yeah. It just has to, it has to sound good. It has to be like, I mean, why the fuck are you listening to it if it's not?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a good way to put it.
And then like,
or just don't listen to it.
Yes. And then also like we don't sit like, oh, let's try and be weird. Right. It's more like, I feel like the thing Matt and I always have is a ton of music that's just out there is like, we listen to it and it sounds like bands are trying to do like a certain, like almost trying to fulfill a thing that's kind of a like oh, we're a good sounding version of this X band, like like we're like, you hear a band and you go like, oh, I can really tell they're influenced by Cannibal Corpse.
So why not
just sound just like Cannibal Corpse?
So why not just listen to Cannibal Corpse?
Or they sound it like this sounds like a Latin version of fucking Alice in Chains or whatever the fuck. Like, and then
that actually sounds pretty cool. Latin version.
That would be kind of fun. Latin salsa beat.
yeah. And then but like, so what I was gonna say is like, so when we're making stuff, like there's little rules that you see in music that I don't even know if some people know they're following, or it's like, so it's more just when we're recording something, like we're not trying to sound like a certain band that Matt and I both like, oh, Matt and I love this band, let's try and make a song like them.
Right.
It's just we have a catchy melody. There's like a certain sound we produce with just like how we play our instruments and voice, and the way we produce,
the way we honk.
Yeah, the way we honk, and then just fucking, and then like just try and make it like exciting to the ears. So like just try and make it so when you're listening to it, we don't want anybody sitting there and go like, oh, they're just copy and pasting choruses and doing this and that. And
I don't think anybody. No, but I don't think anybody would accuse you guys of sounding like anybody else. First off,
right?
But like I think a lot of it has to do with if you bringing it down to the two of you, and Kirk. I don't know. You probably heard this on my video when I first discovered you guys. Was I heard the band and I went, he sounds like Roland Orzabal from Tears for Fears, and I was like, I want that in heavy music. I want that kind of voice in some heavy music. And then I mean, I don't know if am I the only person that's ever said that to you?
It's before, and it's like I don't try to sound like that. That's literally just because when we were trying to figure out vocals,
because he's not a singer, man. Like
I was never. Yeah. Dude, I'm not like in that outgoing of a person. That way, like. I'm not like a natural born performer. I don't want to fucking like. I generally don't like attention. I like hanging out with people, but like I'm not. Fuck, I don't want to be a singer like in the front of a band. And then
you're
like
stuck, dude.
So like we started because we tried out some other singers in the very beginning. Where like just sounds like horse shit. And then so like I tried it and I just went like just the tone my body produces.
Yeah,
that
like It's
man.
Yeah, it's great because it adds another level to the music, and then to throw a compliment your way, Matt, your drumming, my because I really like watching you play, because listening to the drums you kind of there's prog. It sounds proggy sometimes what you're playing, right. But if I watch you play, you have almost like this caveman element to you, where you are half prog, half caveman, and
exactly.
There's an energy to it.
A little limp-wristed, like right, like tinkling the cymbals and just the little. It's like I think we favor
caveman
enthusiasm over perfection.
Yeah. And so like you put those things together, and I obviously I'm a fan and I love what you guys do. And I'm very stoked about the new record. We've been talking for a while. I don't want to keep you guys forever, but
no rush.
Chilling.
All right. Well,
we'll hang out as long as you think people won't be bored. We'll hang out.
I don't give a fuck. Have you seen some of my videos? People get bored.
Good, man. Boredom is a good thing.
But it brings me to like that, doing my videos and what you're talking about, a lot of bands fitting into these cookie cutter kind of things, and that's what I deal with, because a lot of what I talk about is metal, and right. I've found that in the metal communities, everybody wants everything to fit right in this one little area.
It's in a rut.
Yeah, and the thing that I feel is the only thing that makes me feel differently is the fact is how it's my exact age, because I became a teenager around 1990, and around 1990 you had all kinds of different bands getting popular, bands that didn't even necessarily fit in. Nobody knew how to categorize like a Jane's Addiction or a Faith No More or any of that stuff. And at the same time you had this swell up of popularity of grunge and then death metal and all this stuff. And I was always just like, I find good shit in all of this shit. And so the thing that I find myself constantly looking for these days now sure, there are going to be some bands that sound old school and I'm going to like what they're doing. But the number one thing that I'm looking for is that album where I put it on and I literally am just like, I don't know where this is going, but I don't want it to end. And that's what you guys are doing and continuing to do with this new album.
Thanks, man. No,
It's
we
fucking
appreciate
great.
it, man. We, you know, I love. So I'm gonna harp back to because Kirk and I watched that interview of you and the guy who didn't like it. What was his name? The guy who didn't like us too much.
Howard. He is a vocalist of an 80s thrash metal band called Acid Rain back in the UK.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to the UK soon. Maybe he'll come to a show. I would love to hang out with that guy and just have a beer.
I love that.
I'd love it because, like, dude, the thing to us, man, is that when Kirk and I watched it, and he's like, dude, they disappeared up their own ass. That was the line I remember, and I was like,
he gave us in the perfect way. It wasn't like
it was like
what he almost got it.
He understood the music in such a weird way that I was like, dude, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And dude, I'd like to have a beer with that guy and hang out because, dude, we agree, man. There's something to music that sometimes you feel like it's just in a weird rut. And at some point, maybe you disappear into your own ass and just go, dude, let's just write something really weird and cool. And if people like it, awesome. If they don't, I mean, we're going to do another album.
Yeah. And, I mean, and you never know, you could find something great up there while you're up there, while you're up your own ass.
There might be a lot of good stuff up there, man.
Dude, and there's something with the internet that it's doing something to music and bands where it's like everyone before they get an audience, like they feel like they have like everyone's looking at them. Everyone, like including their family, like their mom, their grandma, their dad is watching them, and everyone's sitting there like, I feel like every band like almost feels like they already have eyes on them, and they try to almost appease they like chase a certain form of like perfection in like a certain sound, and
just do you, man.
Like afraid to be something just because like in the 90s, which like I was born in 88, but even like in the 90s when I was younger, it was like some bands would just be weird just because they're hanging out and jamming and like playing live. They weren't sitting there performing to a worldwide stage with a face or Facebook,
right?
And like trying to put their best foot forward all the time. It was like a lot of music just used to be people just making weird, harsh bullshit.
Limp Bizkit, dude.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. Just like, and that's like Limp Bizkit was the perfect peak of like, fuck it. But then they also had money to make it sound amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, just certain bands now, it's like anything, I think any metal I still listen to is stuff I used to. There's like very few modern metal bands that, like, because really the reason I ever liked it was just like, this is like fucking, this sounds insane. And it sounds super different than other ones. And even the individual metal bands like sounded different from each other. And
also there used to be kind of a standard that a band would put out an album and it was supposed to be a little bit different than the one before. But that idea has also kind of gone out the window for a lot of bands as well. So it's just like, it's the same thing, only slightly better produced or whatever, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's I think some bands, it seems like, are almost, I don't know if they're like afraid to have just more fun with it or be weird, because in like summer, if they want to be popular, they don't want to make a mistake and make a stupid song. And so I don't know what it is, but
I feel like in the world of metal, I can narrow it down to one particular band, and you may know where I'm going with this. I think everyone in a metal band is afraid that they are going to make a Load and Reload like Metallica, which I love those albums. And I love when bands do that, when they're just like, fuck it, let's just do something else. But that's even today, you're talking almost 30 years later, people will still chime in and be like, fuck that, they sold out. And so every newer metal bands, all they do is they see all of that fucking negativity and they're just like, well, we got to avoid that. And so it's
I'll offer a modern like example so Tesseract is amazing. Tesseract, like they're amazing. They sound amazing. Like they're perfect, and I like them. But there's bands like Tesseract now where dude, they sound perfect. Mm-hmm. It's like every little thing you hear about them, it's like note for note is there's not a single part of it is inscrutable. It's just like you can't find a single flaw.
Yeah.
And then so Tesseract, I feel like they were one of the first ones that kind of did that.
Right.
I remember because there was like Meshuggah and like Periphery, like in the MySpace days, like early like 2006 or 7 or so. And then Tesseract, like I remember when they were like really small, like around 2007 or something. And it when that came out and it sounded that perfect, it was like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like I didn't know people could make this. And then that almost set this weird precedent that like has not gone away. Almost 20 years later coming up, where it's these like Tesseract has made the most perfect album. It's perfectly technical. They play it perfectly. Every single tone is perfect. The singer is perfect. They play it live perfectly. And I dare you to find an album that sounds as good and hits all these perfect metrics. And then it seems like that since that has been done, all these bands are still trying to chase that in a weird way where it's so many bands I listen to, it's like they're trying to just like, oh shit, it has to be perfect. Why isn't our music as perfect as Tesseract? And it's like, dude, not everything has to be that way. Something can just be fucking like
raw, dude.
Like harsh and ugly and raw and weird and it can still have like
go for it.
Fucking just like samples and auto-tune and bullshit like we do. And so it doesn't have to be like because I also hate fucking just like, oh, we're a raw garage punk band. We only record to tape. And then now you sound like shit.
Yeah.
It's like there's no rule for anything, but I feel like there's so many bands now just find like this rule-based music that
I saw another
perfect, and it sounds like I hate it.
I saw another band do it, so that's what we have to do.
Yeah,
because that's what bands do.
And if you don't do it just them, then you're not as good as them because they did it perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And
like, I really think though, and this is just a theory, but like give it about 10 years because I have a daughter and she's 13, and through watching her music discovery, the way that everyone's her age is getting their music now, there's no division between something that came out last week and something that came out in 1995.
Right.
So
Spotify.
Yeah, so she, I got her into like collecting vinyl, and I remember we were going and she wanted to buy some modern pop artist, but she also wanted to buy Oingo Boingo, and she wanted to buy Slipknot, and I'm just like, all right, cool, like let's
right,
yeah.
And so,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I feel like once people start putting bands together, there may be a little more of an appreciation of the bands that were different. And not only that, hopefully what I want is the idea that it doesn't all have to be perfect, because you start listening to older stuff and you hear mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are like the most memorable part of the song. And so I have some kind of faith that metal at least will come out on the other side with at least some kind of, I don't know. It's just dreams. But for right now, we got bands like you guys that are keeping shit fresh. So, but all right, just a couple more things. This is just personal for me. I know you guys just announced some dates in Europe.
Europe and UK.
The US tour, is that in the works? Like, is that
yes
in the talks? So
we can't say too much about it because it's not solidified enough yet. Two different bands that we're talking with and we're in the works with to make something happen. The plan currently is late 2024 and maybe early 2025. So yes, they're in the works. There's a couple of different bands that we're in the works with. So that we're working on it. We're trying to make it happen. It's interesting because I mean, obviously we're in the US, we're in Nevada, and we seem to have a easier time to land things in Europe, and we seem to have a weirdly difficult time to make anything pan out in the States. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if
for whatever
our
reason,
fan base is bigger in Europe. I'm not sure what it is, because we haven't played in the States since 2021.
Mhm.
So it's been a while, and but we are very much in the works of making something happen for the States here soon.
Cool. Hopefully you make it to Houston, because that's where I am.
Yeah, we played so we did play in Houston in 2019 was the last time we were out there in Texas. We played Dallas, Houston, Corpus Christi, and Austin. Texas was fun, man. We loved it.
Yeah, especially when you hit the bigger cities here, there's a lot of cool people. And then there's especially like, because I lived in Austin for the majority of my life, and I've lived in Houston now for almost 5 years, I think. And Houston is even better. Like, I go to shows here and I'm just like, oh my God, it's like the crowds here are just so much fun and all really cool people. And so, yeah. But anyway, that was a selfish kind of thing. Like, hey, come.
But yes, it's very much in the works, and the bands that we're actually in talks with is it'll be a cool night. It's interesting. It'll be fun if they pan out. It'll be really cool. So we're hoping that it pans out. It's all in works right now. So hopefully it works out.
Nice. That actually is a nice segue into my last question. That's a little more of a fun question. When I was listening to Data Diamond again, like I started to really like the scope of it all. I mean, I guess the same thing could be said with classics as well. And I was like, you know what? This is the kind of music that would, I think, sound good in a little club and in a stadium. I think if you in a stadium, it would still sound pretty cool. So that made me think, and want to ask you guys, if you could pick one stadium level artist to open for, to go on tour with, doesn't matter what genre, it doesn't matter, anywhere.
I bet ours is the same, dude.
I was gonna say R. Kelly.
He's not touring anytime soon.
I was gonna say P. Diddy. Yeah.
No, but they would bring out R. Kelly like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
To perform.
You know, I would go to that.
Okay.
Because
seriously, guys.
Seriously.
Honestly, like, here's the thing to know about Matt and I too, is like,
okay,
we don't listen to like that much music. And my whole life is like, I've listened to just like a few bands, and they're like wild hairs that just like, I just get sucked into it for 10 years and just fucking just come out of it in like a whirlwind. So like, there's honestly not like a band. It's like, oh shit, that would be it. It's just kind of.
I think the band that I would like to tour with, because I think it would just be weird and insane, would be Death Grips.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That would be, if I could choose a tour that would be like the tour that we did, it would be touring with Death Grips.
We want like loud, like just loud and exciting.
Yeah. And the reason why is I feel like Death Grips, they in a very interesting way, they are on the same page as us, is where it's no whole there's no rule to it. Let's just make this exciting, cool music. But there's little moments where you can go, that is a really cool melody. I hear that melody. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, you can tell they're trying to just push something. And then their last tour, they didn't have any openers. And that's what I like. Like, I don't know where all these like rules came from, where it's you need an opening band or two opening bands and then the headliner. And then the headliner's finished. They come out and they play their encore. And then they all step up, they hold hands and bow and then get the picture with the audience behind them. It's like, but just Death Grips, it's literally just they show up,
scream.
Like blow up the venue. It's like nonstop. There's no talking to the audience. Like, hey guys, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
It's just an experience.
Like, that's the kind of energy we like our ideal gig would be like, even if it was a huge venue, it's just like, come on, just blast it out, and then like nonstop, and then just gone. And like that's kind of more.
That's the one band that Kirk and I really have in common that we really enjoy is Death Grips.
Yeah.
And,
I love them too. My big gripe has been since day one that when they play live shows, he raps over his own vocals, And so you hear the actual song playing underneath him, and I'm just like, you guys can know how to make a mix with no vocals in it, right?
Yeah, right.
I think sometimes he's screaming so hard it's like he almost like
He's
can't
gonna
fucking
pass
do it.
out.
I think because I saw them on their last tour I don't think he did at that time because I hadn't seen him live before that, but this one, like, I had watched plenty of live videos, and this one sounded specifically tighter. And the one thing that I know they had on this tour was a sound guy that like came out and like, so I think this one, their last tour seemed a little more like meticulous and like put together and like less of just let's blast the tracks and play over them and make it like a sloppy noise, it's just blasting. It seemed because also the drums were like they sounded really good. Normally in stuff it was just these raw drums, but these sounded like a really well produced solid kit that like, and I don't think those I'm sure there's some vocals that came through that are like affected or something, but I don't think the last tour I don't think he
I'm gonna choose a metal band too.
Yeah, go for it.
There was a metal band any metal band that I could play with, it would be King Diamond. I think that would be a sweet mix.
Yeah.
You know who else I would do is make
Lost Prophets.
The Lost Prophets.
You guys, this is like the the Predator tour 2024.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. Hey, that's my dream tour. Is Fort Baron with Lost Prophets, the Predator tour.
Maybe
Alien versus Predator.
Maybe in all seriousness, maybe another band that would be cool if it's just any band in the world would be AFI. I think AFI is awesome. And a lot of people are like, whatever about them. And I think they overlook how just how kick-ass their songwriting is and like the catchiness of them. I think that would be fun as shit.
Yeah. The great thing is that you guys would fit in with all of that shit. So
and that's what we feel about our music is that we don't think that, and this is just our personal opinion, we don't think that there's guide rails on where we would go. We would comfortably play with AFI, and then we would comfortably play with Napalm Death, which, I mean, funnily enough, we opened for Napalm Death one time in Europe, and it was one of the funnest shows. It was a bunch of like crust punk death metal guys. Yeah. And we opened up with the intro to Planet Silver Screen, which is like that weird 80s dance music. And they were into it. So we would play with anybody, and we enjoy playing with different bands, and we just enjoy playing live. So we play with anybody. We're not picky.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope that that whatever plans you have for those bands for the U.S., I hope that works out, because it sounds like it will be great. But I'll be, of course, I'll be just stalking your socials for any kind of announcements anytime. But
I hope to make one soon.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's really all I got for you guys. I love Dated Diamond. It's great. I'm gonna actually I do a radio show. I have an internet radio station on an app called Live 365, which is like 24 hours of just music that I love. But then I do these like 2-hour radio shows, and I'm going to be playing The Witch on my show tomorrow night.
Nice.
So but like a lot of the people, like, I have like a Facebook group and people that like, follow my shit. And so many of them are like, oh man, you turned me on to 4-Stroke Baron. And so it's like, we've got a little crew that we're like, we're all stoked for the album. So
appreciate you, dude. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys chatting with me for a fucking hour. It blew by, man.
It did and dude, if we tour and we're in Texas, dude, we will no shit.
Fucking out.
We'll go to the Olive Garden and we'll freak out, dude. It'll be shit, man. Dude, we love playing music, and I think this is the cheesy part. Like, dude, it's fun to just go to shows and talk to people who enjoy our music and really just kind of get on the same page it's a vibration where we go back and forth, and it's fun as shit, dude. So
yeah,
if we come through Houston, we'll make a reservation at Olive Garden, dude, and get all you can eat breadsticks. for sure.
That sounds amazing. I'll be there. All right. Also, keep an eye out for the next episode of Old Bollocks, where I will be reviewing the album with Howard. So,
I can't wait.
So I'm going
to fast forward your opinion and listen to Howard.
I'm not. You know what? At this point, I don't even need to say anything. So I'm just going to send him the album and be like, "Look, I just want you to talk about it for 5 minutes."
Yeah,
hell yeah.
And dude, tell him to get as British as possible.
And
all right.
And no holds bar, like
for real. If he's in the UK, we'll be in the UK in May.
All right, we'd love to hang out.
Yeah, dude, I would love to get him. I would love to get him a guest pass. We'll put him on the list. We'll grab a beer with him.
Are you? I'm pretty sure he's in London now. Are you guys playing London?
Yep, that's the last show. We're playing at the O2 Iselman or something. It's
okay.
I don't know, but we're in London.
I'll let him know, because I bet, you know what? I bet he might actually go out and check you guys out.
That'd be fun, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Well,
O2 Academy.
O2 Academy. Islington.
Oh, okay. That sounds very British. Yes.
We'll take him to the UK version of Olive Garden and yeah, fun, man.
All right, cool. Well, it's been a blast, guys. Thank you so much, and I hope the album is successful, and I hope to see you guys on tour soon.
Appreciate you, dude. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
All right,
man.
cheers.
Have a good night.
Peace.